Alright, ladies and gentlemen, these are the factoring notes given to you in standard form here. Your objective: you'll be able to factor quadratic equations when given to you in standard form and when a equals 1. Which means that the leading coefficient is no more, no less. It's always going to be 1 for us. So a will always equal 1 in our standard form equations. In standard form, what that means is a highest powered term to the lowest power term. Everything's going to be listed in order. So it's going to be nice and pretty as best we possibly can. We'll start from the bottom, we'll work our way up. Now, no factoring involves the knowledge of knowing your factors of numbers. Alright, a couple typos, but it's okay. This lesson was first presented to you in 7th grade, so factoring. We're going to go over factoring from way back when, so you get comfortable with it, so it makes this lesson a little bit easier. So we're going to first review some of the old school before we get to factoring quadratics. So what do I mean by that old school stuff? Well, that'll be all this stuff. Our goal is to find all the factors of 20. We're going to list them right below it. We're going to put one number on the left hand side of the little table and one number on the right hand side. So 20. So what are all the factors of 20? Well, we know 1 times 20 gets us 20. 2 times 10 gets us 20. 3 times, well, that's a decimal to get us 20. We're only going to write down the integers. So it's always best to list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the left hand side and just take that number and divide by each one of them. And the factors are always going to be the ones that are integers. So 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Now, once you get two numbers that are very close to each other and you test the numbers in between, that's where we could end our loop for as positive numbers. But now we also have to consider the negative numbers. 20 divided by negative 1 gets us negative 20. So negative 1 times negative 20 gets us positive 20. Negative 2 times negative 10 gets you positive 20. And negative 4 times negative 5 also gets you positive 20. Let's do a couple more here. Let's break down 32. Let's list all the factors of 32, all the different combinations. 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 4 times 8, negative 1 times negative 32, negative 2, negative 16, and negative 4, negative 8. These are all the different combinations that get us positive 32 involving integers. Now, yes, you could do it with decimals, but we're going to avoid decimals for now. We're just going to talk about the factors, the integers. With 33, so 1 times 33, well, 2 times, well, that's a decimal, so we're not going to write 2 times whatever to get us 33. We're going to do 3 times 11, negative 1 times negative 33, and negative 3 times negative 11. We also got 100, and with 100, slide them all up. We got 1 times 100, 2 times 50, 4 times 25, 5 times 20, 10 times 10, negative 1 times negative 100, negative 2 times negative 50, negative 4 times negative 25, and negative 5 times negative 20, and negative 10 times negative 10. So we listed all the combination of the factors to get us to 100. Negative 24, so it also works with negative numbers factors here. Now, when you have a negative number, you're going to have one column starting off with the positive numbers and the other column negative numbers, and then it's going to flip-flop halfway through. So 1 times negative 24, 2 times negative 12, 3 times negative 8, 4 times negative 6, negative 1 times 24, negative 2 times 12, negative 3 times 8, and negative 4 times 6. These are all the factors of negative 24. With negative 36, and you got all your list of factors here. Grab these up too, slide them up so you could see. Now, we have to depend on your identifying factor skills for this next part. So this is when we're going to factor quadratics. So we're going to look at this right here. Group it, make it look pretty. All right, looking at problem number 1, we got n squared minus 53n plus 360. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to factor this quadratic equation down. First, we're going to need all the factors of the c value, meaning this sign and number here at the end. We're going to take and find all the factors of that number. Once we list out all our factors, we need to identify which pair of factors add up together to make the value of b, which is negative 53 in this case. So we list them out, and we find the combination of negative 8 plus negative 45. Those two numbers added together add up to negative 53. So once we found that combination, we're going to take each number, whatever variable they're using, in this case n squared, it's going to be n minus 8 and n minus 45. Those two numbers will go into those slots. So we parentheses n minus 8, close parentheses, times, open parentheses, n minus 45. That's this quadratic equation factored down into this. And this will be our answer. Let's try another one. In this one, this is a little bit more of a shorter problem, a little bit easier. In this case, we're going to factor n squared plus 5n. Now, anytime there's no value for c, meaning it's 0, all we got to do is just factor out the common term here. So both this term and this term both have an n in it. So we take an n out. N squared divided by n just gets us n. 5n divided by n gets us 5. So that will be our answer. Next one up. We got a c value of 198. We've listed all the factors. We find a combination of negative 6 plus negative 33 gets us negative 39. So we write them in. N minus 6 times n minus 33. Now will get us our answer. The more and more you get the hang of it, the more and more you'll feel comfortable and the faster you'll go. So these aren't the most longest of problems once you get comfortable with it. So you do the factors of negative 50, you got 1, negative 50, so on and so forth, and 50 and negative 1. That combination adds up to positive 49. So we do a plus 50 times a minus 1. Alright. But you do see that this process can be tedious if you don't have a calculator. And even if you're using a regular calculator, if you don't have a graphing calculator, it's a little tedious. So one way to make our lives a little bit easier, we could actually find all the factors really, really quickly. Especially when the numbers get big. This can be very useful. So as you can see, this process can get tedious, so let's make life easier and use our graphing calculator to find all the factors of our numbers given. So what you're going to do, you're going to hit the y equals button on your graphing calculator, then type in the number that you want to find the factors of. So if you want to find all the factors of 90, you type in 90, and then you're going to divide that number by x. For example, the factors of 90 is in that one spot, you do 90 divided by x. Hit the second graph button, aka your table, and all the integers, aka the numbers without the decimal, are the factors of that desired number of 90 in this example. So if we do the next problem here, obviously it's one of the easier ones. We got k squared minus 44k. So you know we just have to factor out a k. And problem number 6 is one of the longer ones. So this is one we could use our graphing calculator with to make life a little bit easier. So we type in, hit our y equals button and we clear it. We type in negative 84. Then divide by x. Hit second graph and you get to the table. In the table, all the integers are our factors. These are all the different combinations that multiply to negative 84. We find that 14 and negative 6, those two integers added together get us positive 8, so those are the ones that we're going to be using. P plus 14 times p minus 6. Now, I even got another shortcut here for you to make your life even easier. So what we're going to do here, let's say we want to find the factors of 90 that add up to 21. We could do this actually kind of quickly on our graphing calculator. We could hit the y equals button. In your first slide, you could put in the number that you desire and divide that by x, just like what we've been doing. Then in the second slide, in that y2 position, we could type in x plus our number divided by x instead of parentheses. In that y2 spot, hit enter. Then if we go to our table by hitting second graph, in that y2 column, if you scroll down and find your b value, the number that you're looking for, aka 21, you'll scroll down to 21 in a y2 value, and the x and y in those positions are the factors that you need. That'll make things a little bit quicker for you, especially when the numbers get big. Let's try doing that with this problem right here. So at number 7, we got a big number like 2,400. So we're going to type in into our graphing calculator, hit the y equals button. We clear the y1 and y2 that we were working with in the past. In the y1 spot, I want you to type in 2,400 divided by x. Then in the y2 position, I want you to type in x plus parentheses 2,400 divided by x, close parentheses, and then hit enter. Then hit second graph to get to the table. Now you're going to scroll on your y2, you're going to scroll down to positive 98. You're going to try to find that positive 98. When you find that positive 98 in your y2 column, you're going to see the x and y values are 48 and 50. Those are the numbers that we're going to be using. That's our answer, n plus 48 times n plus 50. And that's how you get the answer for number 7. Here's number 8. So now practicing using that graphing calculator. We got r squared minus 11r minus 476. Well, we got to find the factors of negative 476 that add up to negative 11. So we hit the y equals button. We clear those previous settings that we had before. We're going to type in the y equals. We're going to type in negative 476 divided by x in that y1 spot. Then we're going to scroll down to y2, and we're going to type in x plus, open parentheses, negative 476 divided by x, close parentheses, hit enter. Then hit second graph, you're going to get a table. In that table, in that y2 column, scroll up or down to find negative 11. Once you find negative 11, you're going to see that it's at x value of 17. And your y value, y1 value, is negative 28. Those are the two values will add up to get negative 11. So our factored form is r plus 17 times r minus 28. Here's our next problem. We have k squared plus 19k. When there is no c value, the c value is 0. So we're just going to factor out what these two terms have in common. We have k squared and 19k. Well, they both have a k, so we take out a k. K squared divided by k is just k. And 19k, when we take away the k, you just have 19. Last one. We'll do one of these type of problems. I'll balance them out a little bit. So we have x squared plus 20x. Well, both terms have an x in it. There is no c value, so we don't have to do any factoring. So we just take out the x. X squared divided by x leaves you an x on the inside. 20x divided by x gets you 20, so we put 20 there. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or come to Extra Help. I'll be happy to help you out. And that's the video. Have a good night.